Well, hello, my beautiful Virgo. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for mid-August right through to mid-September 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam. Okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I am using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, something that may be of benefit to you as I use the Gaia chimes, this is a space and a breath for you to take a pause and really visualize the sort of success or the money or the status that you are aspiring to achieve, whether it's through career or through acquisitions. Really focus on what it is you are wanting to accomplish at this time, and as the Gaia chimes recalibrate the vibrations, it helps lock you onto a vibration of manifestation. Okay, so something to think about during this time. Let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Virgo, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Virgo? What do they need to know right now regarding their career and their finances? Can you please show them the way? So the trumpet energy is there, which basically means you making a little bit more noise in your industry, really being seen and appreciated for what you do. So I feel like your talent, it basically speaks for itself. But if you are kind of like waiting for some sort of leadership position, or you are taking the lead in your career, you're going to be noticed, is what I'm being given there. Also, I feel this would be a great time for you to market yourself, promote yourself in some way. But I also see this energy of you heeding the call. Okay, connecting to your higher self. Yes, you got the bees there. You're in service. You're very busy. I feel you're building something that'll be very rewarding for your future. And I do see a victory coming on in there for you, but I feel like you're hard at work to make this happen in the first place. We've got the clouds, okay? A little bit of hesitation there. So I would say that the next coming weeks is trying to override a fear or a doubt in your industry. We'll challenge that card in a moment and clarify it there for you. But it could be that you deal with some very negative people or circumstances that try to, dull your shine there, but you're not allowing it to happen. And of course, the bees indicate a reward for all of your hard work. But I feel you may be a little bit worried about your industry or the changes that are occurring, or you're trying to focus on your financial security and stability for now because you feel there are uncertain times ahead economically, so you're just trying to put yourself in a strong position, as it were. So I feel a lot of you are working towards that. We have the Four Wands. Yeah, something to celebrate. If you haven't had anything to celebrate for a while, there's something coming on in there for you. But the Four Wands is an energy of being in harmony, enjoying what you do, but also being in the company of like-minded people. Even if you work for yourself, this can be a great time to network or get your website up and running, or business cards, stationery, things like that, practical things. I feel a lot of you could be connecting to that at this time. But if you work for a company, this could be that, there is an important call that comes in from your boss or from someone that you work with. I also get this energy here of maybe an important call regarding like a promotion, because there is a promotion vibe there with that King of Wands energy. Oof. How would you like to receive? Eight of Wands, something gathering momentum. We have the Ace of Cups there. Yes, something being offered to you here. It is something that is offered, but then there's like a question mark over it. There's a bit of a pause, okay? So it can be that you're promised something, but you may need to train for it or get a new qualification or certification, or perhaps you have to go through a certain process before it is actually offered to you, but it is offered to you. I want you to be aware of that, okay? Looking at the energy, there's something here that you would love to occur in your career that you're working hard to accomplish at this time. You may feel like you're not there yet, or you're on the way. Things are starting to pick up pace, gather momentum there for you. Page of Cups, I definitely see something being offered or some sort of news that's going to make you smile, as it were. And I feel it's more that your dreams are starting to really take shape, whatever those things are. But I also see some of you very curious about either adding new kind of technology or new information, new qualifications, certifications, knowledge that helps you advance and move to a bigger financial grade, as it were, there, okay? Now, for some of you, if you're currently out of work, let's address that energy right now, because, I feel a lot of you have been putting your resume out there, really trying to notice what you have that other people don't have. It's about you noticing what you offer. You're a very talented and gifted person. You're also someone who is very established. I would say, due to some doubt sometimes, there's just this energy coming through that sometimes you may not talk yourself up as much as you perhaps should, so perhaps this is something you're working on. But I do see here interviews coming on in. I mean, we've got the King of Wands energy and we've got the Ace of Cups. So I would say this is an energy of a leadership position coming in, or a role that has greater status, a lot of responsibility, but also an individual kind of role where you're literally a leader, okay? Or you may govern a team if you're looking to work for a company, but I also see that there is this energy of you being really passionate about this opportunity, and I feel this is you stepping into a high-ranking position there, okay? That's something that's coming through very strongly. King of Wands, Ace of Cups, I feel like you're taking the initiative. So some of you may be actually applying to opportunities that are above where you feel like you're at right now. I would say shoot for the stars, because you are going to accomplish what you set out to, because when we've got the Hangman energy, there seems to be some sort of new knowledge, okay? I mean, Hangman can be a waiting period, but I feel this is about you gathering new information that helps you. And of course, we've got that Page of Cups, which means something new is offered to you. I would say that you're going to get some really great feedback on an interview. For some of you, you may have gone for an interview, but you're feeling a little bit uncertain. There may have been a bit of a delay there, and you're like, oh, I thought that went better, and I haven't heard anything back, so perhaps it's not going to happen. But actually, I feel there was a person who was away who needed to sign some things off, and when they come back on in, I feel like you're going to hit the ground running, and something is being offered to you here. Now, for some of you, there may be two roles offered. One is a little bit more established, high ranking, as I mentioned there, but also I feel there's a starting position, or maybe even like you transferring your skill set into like a new industry, or perhaps it's like the same field, but it feels like it's different. You're going to learn as you earn. You're curious about this role, and I feel actually you would love it. So it depends on which one you want, of course, but this indicates a little bit more enthusiasm. It feels more like the start of an exciting role that you can really make your own. It feels like the birth of a role, as it were. So it could be a new opportunity that is at a new department or a new establishment there. So if you are looking for a role, I feel there has been some uncertainty around this. So it feels like they were wondering, this company was wondering, do they need someone in that role? And then suddenly it's like, yeah, actually they decide they do. And I feel like you're the person for the job. Okay, so if you're looking for a role, I definitely see here a starting position coming on in. Hangman, you may be offered this, have to sign all the contracts. It won't start till later is what I'm seeing there. Okay, it's going to be very rewarding, very lucrative indeed. But also, I'm being given this energy that in the meantime, a lot of you are thinking about money-making ideas, you know, setting up your own business, becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, this is the core of the reading. So whether you are currently out of work or not, I feel a lot of you are thinking about becoming your own boss, having ideas to structure your own company. And I feel this could be creative in its nature. So there may be something that you're doing on the sidelines, gathering new knowledge, or even like going to get qualifications, certifications, taking tests in order to be able to, you know, do this creative endeavor or launch your own business, become your own boss there. I'm seeing it so strongly, and I feel, of course, you're going to love it. With the clouds energy, you may be a little bit uncertain as to how this will all be received or how it will go, but the Hangman, it basically says, give it time, keep investing your knowledge there, and the Page of Cups means that people are going to love what you do, and it's going to be received really well there as well, okay? Now, moving away with a lot of respect from that energy, I feel, oh, my guides are giving me before I go, some of you, if you are currently out of work, you could go to some sort of networking event. If you're looking for a new contract or a creative alliance, some of you are freelancers is what I'm seeing there as well. So it could be that you're going to some sort of networking event where you literally pick up your next gig, as it were, whatever that is. So if you are someone who is like a performer, for example, it could be that you go to someone's screening of their film. And it could be that you get talking to people because you have a very strong networking energy here. And then, you know, you create a very strong alliance and they love what you're about. They look at your work and I feel like they see that you're passionate, love what you do. And it feels like there is something in development here, and I feel you'll be offered it. Now, of course, this reading isn't just for performers or actors or anything like that. It can be that something is developing. It's in the works right now. And with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to connect to the majority energy. I feel like you have something that you're developing at this moment in time, and you're being really vigilant, okay? This figure is in a prime position to observe, so I feel a lot of you are taking a bird's eye view of your career right now to really make some solid decisions. But also, I feel this is an energy of surveillance, as it were, security for the future, you know, looking at the lay of the land, the vast ocean. So I feel with this, it's like you keeping your passion alive for what you do, but also being really vigilant about the nature of your industry, whatever that is. So you are aware there are some changes. You're witnessing them at this moment in time. The clouds can indicate you're not really sure where it's going to go. You may feel like things are evolving or ever changing, and it's like rules or regulations or the industry itself is always moving the goalposts, and you are someone who's very established at what you do. I mean, this card, it highlights that you've reached a certain plateau and you're wondering where to take your career to next, but you may be just looking at an industry that is changing, evolving to the point where you're like starting to not really recognize some of the working practices. I just feel this nature of change and you trying to be in a secure position with regards to those changes. And, you know, this is an energy of like keeping an eye on something, monitoring something. So this could be you're monitoring how your progress is going, or perhaps you're dipping in and out of projects right now, monitoring to see how it goes. A lot of you could be in a position of authority where you are overseeing something, and you may catch someone perhaps not pulling their weight there. And you may wait it out, but you're documenting things and you're waiting for the right moment there to address it with someone, especially if you're a boss or an entrepreneur already, you have your own business. It can be that, you know, you're going to sound the alarm on something in some way. But let's make it a little bit more grounded. I feel a lot of you are just like checking in with yourself to see how far you've come. And, looking at your long-term plans. This figure is sitting in this prime position. They got the trumpet, so this is like making some noise in your career. Some of you may be even making some noise in your career overseas. You may be thinking about migrating your business or relocating if you're a business owner. If you're creative, you may be thinking about, where do you feel like you belong and can you work there? You may be looking at visas, passports, and, what kind of financial opportunities lie abroad, because this is a figure looking overseas. So this can be that these are things that are on your mind right now. Some of you may even have friends or family in a different location to you right now, and you may be thinking, is it better to migrate or relocate there? Would the opportunities be still as fruitful as you're at right now? And I feel like they will, but there's always that question mark there. It says here, victory, resurrection, awakening, decisiveness, inner calling, and forgiveness. This is a Pluto energy, and Pluto really connects. We've got Pluto and Neptune energy here. So this can be that, when you're trying to work behind the scenes on something and you are wondering when is the right time to launch it or the right time to make a move on something. You could feel uncertain, but trusting your intuition is a perfect thing for you to make advancements, because intuitively you will know when is the right moment. But I feel with this card, this is an energy of a victory coming on in, but also some of you resurrecting a project, something that perhaps, you've been meaning to get round to, you've been too busy to get round to. I see a lot of you are busy, exhausted, drained. To have a King of Wands in the resistance position, this can indicate that sometimes you're so exhausted it's really hard to keep motivated on something, but you're pushing on through, you're holding it all together, and you're trying to keep that spark, that flame alive. And I feel an important call or email or document or some sort of new information that is making its way to you, because I feel information is important over the next 6 weeks. This is something that sets your soul on fire, okay? So whether you put yourself up for promotion, whether you are an entrepreneur and you're getting a new client, or perhaps you're changing the way that you work in some way and you suddenly see it's working, it's attracting more momentum and more attention there. This is to get more attention, okay? So marketing, but I feel, as I mentioned earlier, your talent, it speaks for itself. But I feel there's an energy here of you getting out there and doing it, happening to your career, because it literally says there on the bottom, I don't know if you saw that, it says up to you. Okay, so I feel like you are taking ownership, you're organized, structured. This can also indicate that taking a break or going on a vacation is something that started for you right now. You may be, going off and having fun. Eight of Wands is also a travel card. So this can indicate that you're passionate about what you do. You're exhausted, but passionate. But at the same time away is going to give you a moment to reflect on your progress and where you want to take things to next. It makes you feel more decisive there. And I feel with the trumpet energy, as I mentioned earlier, this is a great time for you to promote your work, but I would also say it's a great time to make advancements as well. The Four of Wands is success. It means you hit a milestone in some way, or an energy here of you kind of like making important connections, or I would also say that you reach the midway point on something that you have more to go. It feels like you're maintaining and sustaining, you're showing up. But I feel with that Four of Wands, this is you making some sort of achievement and then moving on to the next stage. Okay, so I would say there are some advancements for you in an area that you've been focused on for quite some time. You'll see these advancements in the next 6 weeks there. Also, the Four of Wands, when it's applied with an Eight of Wands, I would say traveling for work or expanding on opportunities, whether this is overseas. For some of you, it could be that you're seconded to a different branch, or you are trying something new, exploring, maybe even setting up second streams of income or finding alternative ways to get your message out there. But ultimately, Four of Wands and an Eight of Wands is you being passionate and, having the energy to move forward, because I feel there's going to be a very fast-paced environment. This is a card, the pace is quicker, so I would say you're very busy right now. Just be mindful of structure. That's going to help you, because of course we have the Bees. Bees is a card of cooperation. However, it's in the resistance position. So I feel a lot of you, you're doing it all for yourself right now. You're out there on a limb, making life work as best as possible in your career and industry, and you're doing what you can do now. I feel there's an energy coming through of make hay while the sun is shining, okay? So it can be that either you're trying to work really hard now to retire early, for example, or it can be that you're trying to be really productive so you can take a break, tie up loose ends, be very goal-oriented and have everything come together nicely, really sweetly there, so you can then have a bit of a break. If you have had a rest recently or some time away, of course, I know we are like heading into your season, my beautiful Virgo, so I feel a lot of you are going to aspire to have a break during your season. So it can be that you're in a rush, a little bit busier than usual right now, holding the fort or taking up a little bit more slack, as it were, doing a little bit more work. I feel this is about you getting everything done in advance, almost to get ahead of yourself or planning early in some way, because this is a very early card. Some of you may actually decide to get up earlier in order to, be ahead of everything so you can have like a little bit more time off. I also feel like simplifying things, streamlining them, finding a way to be more efficient so that you can get more done and have more freedom is something that I see you aspiring to achieve over the next coming weeks and months there as well. Now we have, thank you so much, I'm so grateful. My guides gave me, you may be on target with something, but if you rely on others, whether it's for shipping requirements or whether it is people have to sign things off, there may be some delays in that, and that may make you feel a little bit frustrated or like hesitant, like why are we not moving forward? I feel like there is this energy of you having to chase something as well. So if you're a freelancer, that could be that you have to chase payment. I hate to give you that message, but I see it there. You will get the money, of course, but you may need to give them a little bit of a nudge. I just feel like some of you, not all of you, there may be a delay in payment or a delay in the payment run is what I'm seeing there. Also, I feel there's a lot of success that comes here after a disappointment or adversity for some of you, because we do have that Ace of Cups. It's in the resistance position. And when it's in the resistance position, this basically means some of you, invested in something with all of your heart and soul, and you put forward for it, applied for it in some way, and it didn't quite go the way you'd hoped for at first. I want to say at first because I feel like something else comes back around to make it better. Sometimes we are rejected, protected, and redirected because the universe knows a better way. Sometimes we actually accept less than we truly deserve, and I feel like you're all about reciprocity. This is you knowing your worth. You're sitting there going, I've got the skill set, not in an egotistical way, in a way where you are comfortable with the knowledge that you have. You're always willing to expand your reach and expand your knowledge, but you've reached a certain level in your career right now, and you're comfortable. I feel, of course, there are stresses and strains and worries that we all have, but it can be that where you're at right now, you feel like somehow you fit. It's extra busy. The Four of Wands is an energy of there are days when you really win. There's an energy here of kind of like being creative and being in sync with your industry. But it's almost like you're making sure that this is maintained and sustained. You are someone who's at your personal best and you're going the distance. You're someone who is like passionate. You're going to make great strides forward. But also, I feel there's this energy of you kind of like wondering if there are any changes looming on the horizon that can dull your shine or could be difficult. So I feel like you're trying to put yourself in a really great position right now to weather any potential storm. But looking at the energy, I don't see any potential storm. I feel the only thing there that could be, and it's not really a negative, I feel there could be some delays or some pauses in order to help you. The Hangman is an energy of like perhaps having a certain way of doing something that is coming to an end. So for example, some of you may utilize new technology or new tools or skill sets to help you be more streamlined or simplify whatever it is that you're doing, and it feels like you're just letting go of a certain practice or letting go of something that you always do because there's a better way, as it were. So I feel with that Hangman energy, this is not a negative energy. sometimes we need to have a pause or a time of inaction in order to allow the universe to bring in some extra opportunities. You've been working really hard. You don't want to force it because you're going to burn yourself out, but I feel all the effort you're putting into your career or your focus there, I feel is going to be rewarding, but it feels like it is a long road. It feels like it's a long process, and I feel like you're on target there. New knowledge, I see a lot of you kind of like perhaps not knowing something or wanting to like become more au fait with it. So for example, if there's a new kind of technology or tool that you're utilizing, at first you're going to feel a little bit like, oh, I don't get this, or this is not, more efficient. This is not simplifying things, but I feel like you have to kind of like learn it before it becomes, ingrained in you, and then it becomes second nature. So a lot of you could be dealing with new practices or new ways of doing something that requires you to have a bit of a gear shift before you really kind of like take to it, and then it's great. Same with, if you're moving into a new role in some area of your career, or even if you're creating a new role. It could be that you're, learning to create something new to expand your reach in your business, whether you're an entrepreneur, independent worker, or even if you work for a company. Anything new requires patience to become more like familiar with it. So I feel like you have been familiar with a certain practice, and now you are kind of like leaving the familiar to embrace the extraordinary, or leaving the familiar in order to kind of like move into uncharted territory, and you feel a little bit uncertain about the way ahead, but actually I can see that you are going to love it. You just need to give it time. Okay, so there's that really strong message coming out there. Now, coming back to the bees, anything that's in the resistance position will go into the upright. A lot of you feel that you've been working really hard, unappreciated, you go unnoticed. You are someone who is a linchpin in your industry. You're someone who is integral to your team if you work for a company, but also I feel like you're someone who is very important, in your sector or in your area of expertise. And I feel like you have a lot of expertise, but I feel there's this energy with you where you're like, okay, I need to open myself up to advancing. And in order to do that, there may be some course of learning or new knowledge that you aspire to achieve. So you may kind of like put some, okay, this is not going to resonate with everyone, but I have to give you what I'm given. The Four of Wands can be an energy of like, if you're going out partying and, being with friends and you have events going on there, even team building exercises maybe start at this time to advance your business or, advance in some way. But some of you may be deciding like, okay, I've gone out there, been partying, and now you want to fill your extra time with learning. Some of you may actually download a course of learning because we've got the clouds all connected to the air, the ether, the internet. I mean, some of you may also be fearing that, AI is coming in and making some huge advancements, and you may wonder, what does it mean for your industry? But I feel there's an energy of you doing something unique that makes you stand out, and perhaps something that AI cannot do. AI cannot replace a creator. For example, you still need to give commands, you still need to be the creator. And I feel like there's an energy here of you being the creator. Some of you may take back the power by becoming your own boss and carving out a niche in your industry and, retaining control over that specified area. And therefore, I feel there's nothing to worry about. You actually utilize these tools that come in to help you advance. So there's a question mark over that for some of you, not all of you, but I feel with that Hangman and the Page of Cups, I feel like you're going to benefit and enjoy the outcome of some of these changes long term. Now with the bees, of course, this indicates that whilst you do feel unappreciated or overlooked in some way, I feel because this card goes into the upright, it means all your hard work is starting to bear fruit, or you're seeing things come together as planned. You're creating a structure. I mean, you didn't get any pentacle cards. That doesn't mean that you're not focused on money, because of course money is important. I feel more than anything your reputation is increasing. I feel you are trying to make some advancements, but also some strong alliances in your industry, networking, but also kind of like looking at where you can celebrate yourself and your skill set. And I would say there's an energy here of wherever you had conflict with a person in the working environment, or you felt kind of like singled out, over the next coming weeks, there is a little bit more camaraderie because you have that Four of Wands, and this card goes into the upright, which is cooperation. But it says sweetness, cooperation, hard work, focus, dedication, sweet results, and duty. Mercury is the governor of this card, so I really feel there is some sort of information or news that comes in that you will toast or celebrate, because we do have that Page of Cups. Pages do bring news, so I would say you're curious about something that is aligned with your dream, but you're making this happen. You're the one who's showing up for yourself, and although you may have felt like you're holding it all together and you're working really hard and it feels like you're at close to being at capacity, because Eight of Wands is like you doing a lot of things. You are kind of like putting many fingers in many pies, and you're always on the go, okay? It is a very kind of like multitasking kind of energy for you for the next coming weeks. And this may be until you take a breath, okay? Because the clouds can indicate, you know, suddenly there is a bit more of a pause there. The energy isn't so fast paced, but I feel this gives you an opportunity to really think clearly about what it is that you desire. If some of you have been feeling a little bit stuck in your industry or your career, I do feel that there is, you know, a breakthrough, something you're dedicated on starts to move forward, and you start to see things really take shape there as well. Now we have that King of Wands energy. It's in the resistance position at first, okay? So this can indicate some of you are looking at the things that are not working for you right now, things that you've been pushing or trying to force at this time. You may even take a step back on this briefly in order to really look at it and problem solve, okay? Because I feel like you course correct it or problem solve it. I feel like you don't give it up or you don't walk away from it. I feel it just needs a tweak. I don't know what tweak it is, but I feel that, you know, it all starts to come together for you. Now, this is a challenging one because for some of you, with the King of Wands in the resistance position, this can indicate that you have been dealing with someone who singles you out or even bullies you in the working environment. Of course, if this is you, document everything, okay? Write it down, times, dates, really kind of take the initiative to create like a document really to highlight to a governing body or take it to the next stage. You may not be sure how it's going to be received, but I feel it is a delicate situation, and it's almost like if you work at a company where you approach HR, you'll give them all the evidence and then they'll kind of say, leave it with me. There's going to be a pause. They need to investigate, and then there will be some advancements. I feel this person, you know, I feel you're not the only person to complain about this person, so I feel there will be some challenges made there. I feel this person, I'm getting like this energy of 3 strikes and you're done. I feel like they're already on their 2nd strike, so your complaint may be the 3rd strike and they're done. So that's coming out there, but it won't happen for a while. I feel like they may be working on something that perhaps they are integral to, and when that project is done, then I feel like they're released and it's the end, okay? So some of you may be dealing with someone like that, but I would not suffer in silence, okay? Just be mindful of that. Also, this is a period where there may be some sort of team building exercises or events that bring people together. You know, if there's some sort of work outing, for example, there may be someone who makes a pass at you, okay? This is something that I see that could be unprofessional, but looking at the energy with the Ace of Cups, I feel like you let this person down unless you're attracted to this person. If you're attracted to this person, Page of Cups can indicate that maybe there's a little bit of work romance going on there. But the Hangman is an energy where you kind of like don't want to rush into anything. So that's coming out there as well. But as this is a career reading, I would say there is an energy of some of you launching something before, and perhaps you were ahead of your time. Okay, it may not have been received in the way that you hoped for, or you were disappointed with the results. I see you returning to this and, as I said, tweaking it and relaunching something. Is that a word? Relaunching something. So I feel it's going to be much more successful. You're going to have a feeling of doubt, perhaps because of the way it was received last time. But I feel, again, you're ahead of your time, and now it is very well received, and you are rewarded for it. So I'm being given this energy of, okay, many years ago, you know, there was a very famous movie that was a little bit silly, okay, and, you know, lots of people told me, oh, you should watch this movie, it's so fun, and I watched it, and I was like, this is not making me laugh, this is not fun, this is just silly, I'm not really, no, I'm not feeling it at all, not in the mood, okay, so I dismissed it. I watched as much as I could and then turned it off, because I was like, oh, you know, life's too short to, you know, be kind of digesting things that just don't align with you. So I switched it off. And then a couple of years later, I was just sitting there and it just popped on the TV and I was like watching it and I started to giggle and go, this is pretty funny actually. I had to be in the mood, okay? That movie was perhaps way ahead of its time, and then I was playing catch up with the humor, as it were. So I feel it's kind of the same with if you're launching a product, a goods or a service. I feel like, you know, now you're aligned, things are going to quicken pace and you're going to get more attention. So I see a lot of you revisiting a project that you will relaunch there as well. Now, King of Wands is about energy. So I feel a lot of you, there is this spark returning, passion, motivation. I feel a lot of you, this will come after a break because you're exhausted. So I feel like you needed to replenish your batteries in some way. But also I feel this is a promotion. You know, this is some sort of leadership position, and I feel like you're aspiring to achieve a leadership position. A lot of you are going to get news on this. If you work in a company or for a company, I would say you're going to hear about this. There may be an appraisal, you know, where these roles are talked about, and you're going to have to wait because we've got the Hangman there and the clouds. It may even be such a wait where you feel like, oh, maybe they've forgotten. Maybe it's not happening, but it's happening. So I just feel like there's certain rules and regulations and policies they have to adhere to before they can really offer it. So it feels like it's sitting on a table right now, but it's not moving forward. But I feel a lot of you, by the end of the year, there's an energy of being promoted, okay? And also I'm getting a strong vibe, as I mentioned earlier. King of Wands, it's at the center of your reading, and that's all about entrepreneurship or running your own business. So this may be something that you are aspiring to achieve. You're gathering all the knowledge and contacts right now so that you can become a consultant in your industry or a leading practitioner in whatever it is that you do. Or a lot of you are like, you know, very artistic in your energy, and it can be that you are creatively wanting to collaborate, or you're going to get involved in groups that showcase your work in some way, or there seems to be a middleman or a middlewoman, for example. So if you're a writer, it could be a publisher. If you're an artist, it could be a gallery. If you are a performer, it could be an agent. I just feel you're getting connected, whatever it is you do. Even if you work in a financial banking industry, I feel like you're getting connected and things are developing for you. And although it feels like you're maintaining and sustaining and you're at a certain level in your career right now, I feel there's much more success to come and you're for it. I feel like you're working hard to accomplish it there as well. The Ace of Cups, you know, in the resistance position, this can indicate you feel like you haven't reached where you want to be in your career. It is an ongoing process, but of course, aces, especially in this position, will turn into the upright. So I feel there is something that you will love that is going to be offered to you. For some of you, this could be a proposal to figurehead a company, or it could be documents like a proposal, contracts that you will sign in order to structure your business. Because of course, we have the structure with the bees. You know, this is about coming together in your community in some way. Whether it is through networking or whether it is you having really strong connections in your industry, it just feels like, you know, you're going to benefit somehow from this. And I would say this is, you know, a new idea that you are kind of like working on. It's in development and it will literally be a major success for you. Right now, it feels very much like you don't know how it's going to go because that clouds energy, this can be a hesitancy to launch. You know, if you're not feeling it, don't do it. I would say intuitively, if you feel that, you know, the end of September or whenever the date is, I would say intuitively you're going to find the right moment to move forward on something. I'm going to pull a card on this because it says doubt, hesitation, confusion, unclear, dark thoughts, negativity, and hidden. I mean, this could be that there is a hidden opportunity coming your way because, you know, we have cards that highlight an intervention where something is offered to you. If you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, aces normally have a hand from the universe offering something that has a lot of potential. So I would say that, you know, there are developments on something that has a lot of potential here for you. You'll work hard for it. Don't get me wrong. You have the Bees card, but I feel like you're attracting a lot of attention. And whether that's through your work speaking for itself or whether it is actually through you promoting yourself as well. I feel the two hand in hand would go together. But let me just pull a card on the clouds. Clouds tend to mean, you know, fast-paced, ever-changeable energy. And if you're dealing with a person, I would say get it in writing. If someone asks you for something or gives you a brief on something, get it in writing so there can be no misunderstandings during this time. I mean, on a personal level, I feel this is about you being very busy. I feel like you kind of like being busy as long as you can see progress, as long as you can see that you're making an impact there, and as long as it's something that you're passionate about and that you are appreciated for. And sometimes that can make you feel doubt or hesitation or rob you of joy if you feel like you go unnoticed or unappreciated, or you feel like you're not making a difference. But I can see that there is some sort of news coming in that highlights you are making a difference. I mean, we've got the Four of Swords. Four of Swords is time to think, get clear on something, but also it is a period of finding clarity and taking some time away, looking after yourself, healthier, you know, practices in the working environment. But also I feel this card, it's like recovery. So if you feel that your industry has been going through some radical changes and you're feeling uncertain about that, I feel like you're protected. Four of Swords always sees the figure protected, but always ready for action, ready for anything. So I feel that's you. Maybe you feel a little bit in fight or flight mode with some of the changes in your industry. You may be witnessing like redundancies or closures, and you're like, oh, how is this going to affect the industry long term? How is this going to affect me? And it could raise some doubt or fears there. But looking at the energy of the Hangman, I feel like you're trying to keep abreast of new information or advancements in your industry so that you remain relevant. But at the same time, I feel like you're really well liked. I feel like you actually make a difference and you come up with fresh new ideas and your heart is in it. And you can tell when a person's heart is in it there, okay? Four of Swords, again, I feel a lot of you are just like pushing yourself to be ahead of yourself so you can have a break, okay? Because I feel like you're working towards a break there with that Four of Swords. Also, I feel like you're under a lot of pressure. Four of Swords, some of you may be trying to be a little bit more mindful, or maybe there's conversations in the working environment about improving focus or mental well-being. Mindfulness, meditation, maybe like a group of you, if you work for a company, maybe a group of you are deciding to gather at lunchtime to have some yoga or some meditation, perhaps, in order to have a bit of a midday reset in some way. Or if you work for yourself, this could be you carving out some time to kind of like shut down completely, you know, not think about new ideas. Really shut off and just have some quiet time. Walk away from a computer or a screen so that you can have like a bit of a rest and, you know, make sure your eyes are not completely strained on a computer screen all day, for example. Depending on what you do, it's going to be different for everybody, you know. If you're someone who is carrying lots of boxes around, it could be that you're making sure health and safety practices are followed. Also that you give yourself enough rest so you don't like physically burn yourself out there as well. We have the World and we have the Seven of Pentacles. So the World card is you being very goal-oriented, but reaching your goals. You're very focused. You are action-oriented. You're propelling yourself forward with intensity. You're organized, productive, and I feel like you are ticking a lot of things off your to-do list, but this is about you completing tasks, basically finishing what you start there. And some of you are thinking about either migrating your business or looking overseas to see if there are better financial opportunities for whatever it is that you do. Some of you also may be looking at rolling contracts, service providers, subscriptions, things that you utilize or not. And you may actually decide to close down some of the things that you don't utilize so that you can actually, you know, have more money in your pocket there. Seven of Pentacles, slow spending, you know, but you are still like managing to save a little bit there as well. So I feel slow spending, slow saving. So I feel there's an energy of you like paying money to repayment plans, but you may be checking the exchange right now because the Seven of Pentacles can be an energy of dissatisfaction, that you're thinking about the alternative, maybe a new strategy, a new path, or you're feeling a bit at a crossroads. You've invested a lot of time and energy into something, so you may be curious about alternative ways of doing something. And the Seven of Pentacles basically means you're really invested, but you may feel the returns are not as good as you'd hoped, but you're working hard to advance in that area or open yourself up to new pay grades. So I feel there's this energy, especially if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. The Seven of Pentacles, the figure is like looking at a bush that has 6 pentacles on it, and 1 pentacle has been harvested. So this figure is looking at that pentacle that has been harvested and it's like, okay, now I could grow another one of these bushes right here. Or I could take this pentacle elsewhere and invest it somewhere else. What's the best thing to do here? So a lot of you could be thinking about second streams of income, pooling your time or your resources and going, okay, I'm already invested in this. It's slow moving, it's ticking over nicely, I'm comfortable here. But could I utilize this pentacle and plant a new project? Could I, do a new object or craft a new design? Could I create a new piece of art? Could I create a new project? Could I figurehead something different? How can I diversify what I already have? So I feel a lot of you are looking at the alternative in order to expand your reach, because you have the World card there, but also diversify on whatever it is that you're doing there as well. So this is an evaluation energy. I mean, these cards are telling me that when you have time away, you're really going to think about what next and how best to advance in your career that you've already invested in. Seven of Pentacles, this is an energy of savings. I would say that, you have enough. But of course, the clouds is there, and I was clarifying this. So it can be that, yes, you have enough, and you may spend some money on self-development through courses of learning, self-help books, or upskilling in some way, or looking at books that can inform you on new technology or different areas of the industry you're already invested in, because it's going to help you expand your reach, but also be secure in your industry there as well. I feel you have nothing to worry about, but I feel there is this energy of kind of like, not urgency, but you to be in a position where you feel stable and secure. And I feel like you are, okay? 4 swords that came out there, that means you're protected. But it also indicates that you're ready for any eventuality. It's like you're sharpening your tools in the industry that you're in, if that makes sense. Yeah. With the Hangman, of course, this is about you kind of like feeling that perhaps your industry has been turned upside down in some way and you're waiting for things to settle. But also it is you looking at the sacrifices you make in order to make advancements in your career. And new knowledge is definitely the way to go forward there. You may be squirreling yourself away to learn extra things in silence, or you may be working on a private project, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. You're unsure about the right moment, but I feel intuitively you will be aware of that moment. I mean, I feel this is a card of taking stock, waiting. Again, it's this energy. This figure is literally waiting, observing. So don't get me wrong, I feel like you're super busy over the next coming weeks, but there is an energy here of you kind of like just observing or kind of like monitoring where you feel like you're at before you make the next move, next decision. For some of you, that next decision could be that you are thinking about putting your resume out there and seeking new employment. For some of you, for higher ranking positions and more money. I mean, Seven of Pentacles tells me that you are financially developing and your future self will thank you for all the decisions you're making in this moment. There will be a payoff in the future. But right now, it feels like things are ticking over and you're at a plateau, as it were, where you're just kind of observing what next. What's for the future? Because this person is looking to the horizon, okay? And the sun is shining there. So you're trying to be really optimistic, very hopeful, but you're also acutely aware that, circumstances are volatile economically or they're changeable. You may even envisage that there could be some stormy weather in the future in your industry, but I feel like the knowledge that you have and the acquired knowledge that you are also having at this moment in time, whether it's downloading things or reading things, I feel that helps you advance and stay in an industry that you absolutely love. Pages bring news. I would say something you've been waiting for is going to be offered to you, and it's going to be something to celebrate. If you know the Page of Cups, it basically is a page which is curious. Okay, so I feel like you're trying to keep that curiosity alive in your industry, whatever that industry is. And, the page has a vessel of water that is used as a scrying tool, that is to keep your vision of what you aspire to have alive. But a fish normally pops out on the Page of Cups. Fishes are all about abundance, opportunities, suddenly out of the blue coming in. And I feel this is something that highlights it for you, because the clouds is like you don't see this coming. There is a sudden opportunity that you're going to grab with both hands. You're going to love it. It's going to take time to develop. It's going to take time and knowledge to advance, but it will advance and it will be very successful, and you're going to be very enthusiastic about it. I'm going to pull one more card just to see about finances, because what I just see right now is you working really hard, okay, and feeling a little bit unappreciated. You're still holding things together, you're still moving forward, and you are going to make some advancements. You're curious about different sectors or different areas or different ways of doing things, just to simplify is what I see. Some of you may be asked to change a password over the next coming weeks. And also, I'm seeing a security camera in the water. Some of you may be increasing security at your working environment, or perhaps this is you being vigilant. Or, it could also be that you feel tested or watched, micromanaged in your working environment. But looking at the energy, I feel that, you're someone who is really well liked. If you work in a career, for sure, where you're in a company, but even if you're an entrepreneur, I feel people love your goods or service or whatever it is you're creating. And even in dark times, you still shine your light. People still love what you have to offer. Even if you're an entrepreneur who's like an influencer online, I feel like you are trying to keep people's vibrations up. You're someone who is trying to be positive. You're aware that, of course, there are challenging times and there's a lot of volatility in the world at this moment in time, but I feel you have a choice. You can get busy doing and trying to move through these times the best way you know how, or you can sit in the fact that things are challenging. And I feel like you're choosing to acknowledge that you can go from strength to strength, even in challenging times. And I feel actually you are overriding a challenge, and there's a lot of success here. Even your final cards, we got the Five of Wands, which is it's a lot of pressure right now. Five of Wands is competition. You're challenging yourself, but the Ten of Pentacles indicates it'll be so worth it. It means you're focused on your legacy. It means that you are building something for your future. You're currently at the Seven of Pentacles, okay? So you're trying to simplify or find an easier way, but you will reach the destination of the Ten of Pentacles, which is, a lot of abundance. It's a life of luxury. It is a wealth of knowledge that sees you being a pro at what you do. There's a level of mastery here you already have, but it cannot hurt to add new strings to your bow. And the Ten of Pentacles is the top financial level you can reach in your career. So I would say you're aiming for the top. I feel like there's a lot of abundance here. I also feel like you are secure in your position, and you may even give knowledge that you have to others. Even in a competitive arena, you may tell people what you do, what is the secret of your success, or the knowledge that you have in your industry, and you could create a book online, or a handbook, or maybe a podcast, or something that helps people through challenges. It's like you are extending your hand down to pull people up. That's what I see you doing, but you're also utilizing your knowledge to help you and bring in extra streams of income. So although you do something that you're successful at, a lot of you could be brainstorming, because the Five of Wands is to brainstorm new ideas. You could be brainstorming new money-making ideas that help you set something up that is automated, or, can be downloaded by people, because you have the clouds, which is all about the ether, the internet. It's I'm just being given this automated energy. It just rolls on, it just happens. You may not even have to interact For some of you, if you're getting something like online that you are putting out there to be purchased, as it were, I feel you're the sort of person, though, that would prefer to have like a business where you're more interactive because you have that Four of Wands energy. You like to be a little bit more face to face, but I feel like you may have many fingers in many pies there. And although it's challenging, because the Five of Wands there is a challenge, it means, you know, you're under a lot of stress. There's a lot of competition in whatever it is that you do, but you have something to offer that other people don't. And that is going to set you apart. And that Ten of Pentacles is a big win. Okay, it is either a bonus, or it is a large dividend, or it is some sort of raise or promotion. But it feels like something you're invested in is now going to start investing in you. And you've waited so long for this to happen because you've been putting so much hard work into it there as well. Just going to go and get some final cards for you. We've got protection. Yes, I feel like you are protected, especially during challenging times. You're shielding yourself from loss and saving money for a rainy day. That's what it has there. I mean, information is going to be so key to your success, but we've got that umbrella. Umbrellas do represent protection there against stormy weather, and it's like you're preempting it, but I feel like it's not really going to touch you because you have a lot of cards of protection there. But it says shielding yourself from loss and save for rainy days. Your expenses are covered. So I feel this is about you kind of like having a resource that is cut off to the side that you cannot touch, you know, like a rainy day fund, even though I don't see that you will have it because the clouds came out. The clouds are there. It's not rain. Okay. So it can be that, you know, there's nothing to worry about or nothing to doubt or fear, as it were. As humans, we can spend our time fearing what could go wrong. But actually, you know, if you just launched it and found out, then at least you know it is going to be more successful than you can imagine. We've also got positive focus, which I feel like you're trying to do right now. It says what you see is what you get. So see yourself succeed. I mean, this figure is like, you know what? I got it all going on. You know, this is a card of success, triumph. This is your protagonist energy. So you're seeing yourself succeed. And then, you know, you're aligning with that vibration to make it happen. It doesn't happen overnight, of course, but I feel like you're being very diligent and you are aspiring for the next level, whatever the next level means for you. And also we have information, okay? Lots of pearls there, pearls of wisdom. I do get this very strong energy of you having new knowledge, courses of learning, upskilling, you know, developing greater understanding of your craft, applying new ways of how you know what to do best, as it were, acknowledging that you've learned a lot, accomplished a lot, but also that you can be open to new things. You want to develop. You've reached some goals, but now you're reaching for new goals or finding new ways to apply what you know so that you can like advance even further. But it says to write or express yourself in words opens new doors. Say what's on your mind. So whether that's networking, you know, creating strong alliances. I mean, literally, I got a feeling that some of you may be writing a book or extending your reach with knowledge to help others. I definitely see that will be a second stream of income for some of you there. But I feel more than anything, this is about you being your authentic self and speaking up. You know, I feel like your first card is like an indication of the whole reading. It's like now you're making some noise in your career, saying what you mean, meaning what you say, aspiring to more and getting more. Valuing yourself and not settling for second best, okay? I feel like there's a first place win coming in here for you for whatever industry or career you work in. And you did this all by yourself, self-made, okay? So you should be really proud of yourself. Just going to go and get a trinket or a rune before we close. Okay, so we've only got one. This is really interesting. We've got a wonderful leaf there, but it looks like a fire flame. So this can be that, you know, you're leading with passion, but it can be that, you know, turning over a new leaf, or you are literally deadheading the roses in your career in order to promote growth, looking at what works, what doesn't work. You're not afraid to say, okay, this doesn't fulfill me anymore, or say, you know what, I'm going to delegate this because, you know, it's just taking up too much of my time. You're simplifying. You may be finding, you know, new tools to help you simplify so you can spend your time being more creative, for example. But I would say here, this is about growth in your industry. And I feel if you're not happy, you're literally going to leave. And I feel like you are going to go into a role that you aspire to be in and you just feel is more fun, helps you advance more, really helps you blossom in your industry and nurtures your skill set. Okay, so I will leave that there. I hope something resonates in that reading for you, my beautiful Virgo. I do feel a lot of you are maintaining and sustaining, and more changes happen like as you move through September into October. Really, I feel this is kind of a bit of a lull period. So if you do feel like your industry, whatever industry that is in, I feel like you've been busy, maybe getting around to things that you've been meaning to get around to, but overall, generally, it may be that people are off, you're picking up slack, or there's just not enough business at this time. It feels a little bit quieter. Even though you're busy, you're doing all the other things, the ins and outs, the details of what you do. I feel things will pick up pace as we start to move into September there, okay? So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, my beautiful Virgo, and love and light.